Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to Clutch Takes. And today we're doing a very exciting video, and I'm with my good friend JJ Buckets.
What's up, everybody?
So today we're doing a mock draft simulation. So we're going to be doing this through tankathon, and we're going to run the simulator, and then we're going to be the GMs of the teams, and we're going to see how this rolls out first 10 picks. And there's a lot of hype going into this draft, especially around the top 5 picks. But beyond that, there's a lot of players to look forward to and get excited about. JJ, what are you excited about for this draft, especially as a Raptors fan?
Well, hopefully defying the odds and moving up into the top 4. That would be my biggest hope. But for me personally, like you said, the top of the draft here, like, it just looks incredible. I think the top 5 picks in this draft are going to be super special. Like, all of them have potential to be franchise altering talents. I think you'd be lucky as a franchise to land any one of those guys. I will say, past that mark from the 6 to like really the 20, I have seen different places in terms of like their draft board / mock drafts have guys in such like widely contrasting opinion as to where they are. Like, I've seen some players that are like as high as number 7 also be as low as like close to the end of the first round, and that just boggles my mind. And I'm saying this as a preface that I don't think there's a consensus on who the best players are past the top 5. So if you see us take a name that makes you go, what the hell, just remember.
Yeah, I feel it can be like very subjective. Like, I don't really see, when I'm looking at mock drafts or scouting reports, I see like a lot of differing opinions, a lot of different mock drafts. So I mean, I guess you just got to see what happens. I mean, the draft can be like a crapshoot, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously there's still going to be a ton of time between now and then the actual draft where things are going to change in terms of who's perceived to be where in the draft. So just, if you're watching this video like 2-3 months from now, just keep in mind this is April 18th that we're filming this. So come on, Raptors. I'm going to manifest some luck here. We're jumping into that top 4. Let's go.
All right, guys, you see it? I'm about to hit the sim lottery. Hopefully the Raptors get a top 4 pick, but we'll see what happens.
Yes!
Okay, let's go. Let's go.
Oh,
top 3 pick.
Baby. I wanted the number 1, but I will absolutely take the number 3.
I will absolutely take the number 3 too. All right, so I guess to decide who goes first, I'm gonna do a coin flip with a real coin. So I'll let you call it heads or tails.
I always go heads.
All right. Oh, it's tails. Oh, I'm not lying.
All right. Do you want to pick first or do you want to pick second?
I guess I'll go first.
Understand.
All right. I'm gonna make the obvious pick, boys. There's a little surprise. OKC, this is obviously the dream scenario for them. They've kind of put all their picks, all their players into picks for this moment. And play the music. With the first pick in the draft, the Oklahoma City Thunder select Cade Cunningham.
Wow. What? I don't think anybody would have seen that one coming.
Yeah, what a shocker. So, yeah, Cade Cunningham, obviously can't go wrong with him. Like we've talked about before, he's gotten some Luka comparisons, can handle the ball, good leader, good passer. He'd be like a number 1 potential option on a team. What do you think this does for OKC?
I think this is huge. I just think about the idea of pairing Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who's quietly, I think, still underrated in NBA circles. So
yeah, I agree.
him getting paired with Cade Cunningham, I think the Oklahoma City Thunder have a tremendously bright future. Like, my goodness.
I honestly think this kind of like fast tracks it in a way a little bit. Like Sam Presti has like got picks for like people that are in literally middle school right now. So you can flip some of those picks, get some starters, but like, oh my god, like that backcourt is like you're set for like the next 10 years plus, bearing they resign.
Yeah. All right. Does that put me on the clock at number 2?
Yeah, it puts you on the clock. Who you taking?
I actually think this is a fairly easy one for me. Ring the music. With the second overall pick in the NBA draft, the Orlando Magic are going to take Jalen Suggs. Look, I know Cole Anthony is a decent player. I don't hate that pick at all from last year's draft, but Lord knows the Orlando Magic have been looking for a point guard for a really long time. And I understand what some people are going to say. Well, Markelle Fultz is there. Sure, Markelle Fultz absolutely is there. But he, as much as I hate to say it, I'm not going to sit here and pretend like his career is over by any means, but he has gotten injury after injury after injury. And it's just not an encouraging sign. And I feel so bad for the dude. But with all that being said, point guard is probably, I would argue, the most important position you can have on that court. And the Orlando Magic haven't had an upper tier point guard in a really long time. I think this is a slam dunk pick for them. You could have had a look here at Jalen Green, or you could have had a look here at maybe Evan Mobley, but I'd probably steer away from Mobley just because they did just Wendell Carter Jr. And I personally like Suggs a little bit more than Green. So I think this is an easy pick for me. You get your point guard of the future for Orlando, and he's going to be a tremendous building block for that team going forward.
Yeah, I think you could have made like the argument for Jalen Green too, just to add like more of like a scoring element for like the Magic. I swear they've been like linked to like a player like DeMar DeRozan for like how knows like how long. But Evan Mobley would be another guy, but like you just said, like I feel like Orlando, I feel like Suggs is the better option for them, as like they have like a history of drafting like center after center after center, and they got to give like the young guys they have a chance. They don't, if they draft Mobley, it's blocking Wendell Carter Jr., Mo Bamba, when you kind of just traded Vucevic to give them more time. So yeah, I like that pick for the Orlando Magic.
All right, you're on the clock with our Toronto Raptors, and I have a sneaking suspicion I know the pick here, but hit me with it.
All right. The third pick in the 2021 draft, the Toronto Raptors will select Evan Mobley. There we go. Raptors fans, we finally got our center of the future. No more complaining about those damn rebounds. Got a player that has a lot of potential. Has got comparisons to, I've heard Anthony Davis, and you said also before
Chris Bosh,
yeah,
that I see, and obviously that's one that's going to hit close to home for Raptors fans.
Yeah, and I think people make those comparisons as he's like athletic and he moves really well and has good coordination for someone his size.
A bit of a
and he can
too.
Yeah, a bit of a slender build, but I mean, I feel like a lot of people, unless you're like Zion Williamson, like you're still really, really young and you have a lot of time to fill out your frame, you know what I mean? So it's like, I feel like putting on the weight won't be a problem. He doesn't seem too slender anyway, but like, yeah, I feel like this is a great pick for the Toronto Raptors. I believe he's set to win or already won Defensive Player of the Year. And that fits like right in with our team. Um, yeah, I feel like you can't go wrong with this pick. Jalen Green could have been another option as the Raptors truly need a number one scorer, but I think you still go Evan Mobley with this pick.
Hmm. I can see the argument for Green, but at the same time, I'd rather, put some faith and put some stock into Gary Trent Jr. and his potential development with this team. And I think the need at that 5-man spot is so big for the Raptors that I think Mobley still being on the board at number 3, I think that's such an easy selection for them. I think there's, you get to that point, you're sitting there and you don't even waste your breath. That's what you're taking.
Yeah. All right. Next pick. Let's hear the music.
So, with the 4th overall pick in this NBA draft, the Detroit Pistons are going to take Jalen Green. I think Jalen Green adds to, a young core that's quietly building well in Detroit. I think a lot of dudes that they have are just flying under the radar. I think Isaiah Stewart has a chance to be a really good pro. I think Sadiq Bey is going to be a really good pro. You obviously have Jeremy Grant, and there's a discussion of whether or not you want to hold on to him or whether or not you want to trade him to keep getting younger. But the point here being, Jalen Green, I think, is the best pick here for the Pistons. He slides right into that 2 spot. He gives them a potential number 1 option in terms of scoring, like you were talking about. I also like it because it doesn't get in the way of, say, if you're still invested in Killian Hayes, you're not immediately, giving up on that. I think he fills a spot that they need filled for sure. He gives them a lot of team needs and answers the bell on those. I really like Jalen Green at this spot.
Yeah, I feel like that'd be a pleasant sight for Pistons fans. I know they're having a really bad season and they would have liked to get into that top 3, but like you said, maybe this is low-key a good thing. Obviously you don't want to pass up on Cade if you had the chance, but even with Killian Hayes, but the fit there positionally with Jalen Green fits really well. I feel like you can form sort of Sadiq Bey, Jeremy Grant, and then Jalen Green. You're starting to build something good, and I feel like they'll be on the come up.
Yeah. It's a quietly talented young nucleus that has a lot of potential to keep adding to it.
All right. The next pick is in. OKC Thunder. What a draft for them. What a simulation for them. Best case scenario thing. They get 2 top 5 picks, stealing that Houston pick. Damn. So they're going to take the last consensus top 5 pick in Jonathan Kuminga. He's also been with Jalen Green in the G League with Ignite. And they both showed a lot of great signs, putting up numbers against pros. And he has the athleticism, he has the finishability around the rim. He'll have that chemistry. I feel like this is a no-brainer. Getting 2 of the top 5 picks, what a draft.
Yeah, absolutely. OKC's rebuild, where they have 17 draft picks for first round draft picks, just got so much easier. They did 2 of the 5 best talents in a draft that was incredibly top heavy. And I think with Kuminga especially, whereas Cade is more of a safer pick, where I think even if he doesn't, develop into everything he can be, he'll still be a very good pro. I think Kuminga's story is more about upside. I think you look at this dude, and you mentioned it, the athleticism. I think the sky's the limit for him if he can put it all together and figure it out. It's upside. it is absolutely upside with this guy, and I think he fits really well onto that team. And I just think about, wow, they are now going forward with a young nucleus of Cade Cunningham, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and Jonathan Kuminga. Jesus Christ! On top of which,
and Lou Dort. Don't respect the Canadian Lou Dort.
They still have Moses as well. Like, just wow, wow.
This would be like so insane if this were like actually happen. Like OKC landing 2 picks. Man,
I am so jealous of what they have going on right now.
Yeah. But anyway, we got to keep it hypothetical. Golden State's taking the pick.
Being forced to select where I am.
Wait, we got to play the music.
With the 6th pick in the NBA draft, the Golden State Warriors are going to select Scottie Barnes. From what I've seen, I think Scottie Barnes is kind of the consensus 6. He's kind of more or less from every mock I've seen, from every draft profile I've read, and obviously from the highlights myself that I've watched on Scottie Barnes. People like Scottie as like the next best player, obviously after that immediate group. Hell, honestly, some people even have this guy sliding into the top 5. I personally wouldn't, but you can make a case for it, sure. I think Scottie is going into a really good situation here with the Warriors. I think he has a skill set in particular here that can really be coached up, funny enough, or like, I guess, mentored by Draymond Green really well. I think Draymond Green is somebody that can mentor Scottie Barnes really well in the way that he will develop his passing game some more. Like we really saw in college, Scottie Barnes kind of played a point forward role a lot.
Yeah.
And I think there's no better place to go than Golden State to, with a guy like Draymond Green to help you, develop that point forward aspect of your game. And I think obviously just Golden State in general is just a place that they know how to develop their players. They have a good system there. I have full faith that, a dude with upside like Scottie Barnes is going to a situation as good as he can get to capitalize on that upside.
Yeah, I feel like getting a guy like Scottie Barnes on Golden State, like you said, like it doesn't take away from like your main scorers on the team, and like Steph and Clay, he can probably help elevate their game by his passing, having taken less pressure off Draymond. And then Draymond's like a great mentor for him. When I was like looking up his highlights and his scouting reports, he seems like to be low-key one of the best passers in the draft. And like Golden State with their ball movement, when they're being successful, like their ball movement and defense was really successful, and I feel like this adds to that.
Yeah,
Let's get them back to where they were.
Absolutely.
So the Cavs are on the clock, and I'm gonna play the music. All right, the 7th pick, Cleveland Cavaliers are going to select Moses Moody.
Okay, interesting.
And my reasoning behind this is that I don't want Cleveland to draft another guard. I feel like he could be like a small forward
Sure.
for them. And when I watch like the Cavalier games, like every time like Sexton goes out, they don't really have like a consistent like scorer or offensive player. And I feel like, Okoro is like a great defensive player, but he hasn't shown too much offensively at the NBA level so far. And you could also say like another player like Corey Kispert, who could be like a safe pick to help them. But I think I'm going to go Moses Moody, as people say his shot looks NBA ready. And he doesn't demand the ball a lot. He can be like a catch and shoot type of player. I feel like he would fit well into the young core for the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree with you that the Cavs could definitely use more scoring, and they could absolutely use a player like Moses Moody, especially considering what you've said, he doesn't really need the ball in his hands. He can set himself up nicely just on the perimeter otherwise for open shots. I've actually even heard some comparisons for Moody to a Klay Thompson. I probably wouldn't go that far, but I can see where they're drawing that comparison. I only bring it up just to highlight, his skills off the ball, where he doesn't really need it in his hands that much, to be an effective scoring threat out there. So I think this is a good fit. My only question with this would be his frame is still a little better suited to the 2 spot, which is where you have Sexton. Starting him at the small forward is absolutely a possibility you can explore. But at the same time, maybe you start talking about if Darius Garland should be, sliding to the bench. But I also have my own issues with that, because I don't think I would want to see Colin Sexton in that primary point guard role. I think I'd rather see him in an off guard role. So as much as I think this works in terms of he can probably slot into the small forward, I think it does have some potential to be a little awkward.
Well, I feel like it fits like team needs. It's just positionally is probably more of the problem. But like you said, when I was looking at stuff on him, he's less of a player that's like shooting off the dribble. He's like more of a catch and shoot guy that doesn't need the ball in his hands. So like some ball dominant guards like Colin Sexton, I feel like it won't create chemistry issues, and I feel like it will fit better for the team. But anyway, let's get on to the next pick. Sacramento is on the clock.
Ooh.
I can play the music right now.
Ooh. You know what? With the number 8 pick in this draft, the Sacramento Kings are going to take one of the more divisive prospects in this draft. I'm going to take Jalen Johnson. I am a fan of Jalen Johnson. I am a big fan of his game. I think, first of all, I don't really want to go into the backcourt, because you obviously have De'Aaron Fox and Buddy Hield there, even though you could make the argument that you can slide Buddy Hield over to play the small forward position. But again, you just took Tyrese Haliburton. So I think your forward spots is where you want to kind of be looking, which is why I think Johnson works nicely here. I know you have Harrison Barnes there. But at the same time, that's a player that I think, obviously his timeline doesn't really fit with this team. Yes, he's a very quality player, but at the same time, you can just as easily turn him into a good draft asset and flip him to a contender, which is where I think he would be best suited to be playing at in this point of his career as a complementary player. And I think you can leave the door open for Jalen Johnson to take that spot. I think Johnson is a very talented player. I know a lot of people don't like the fact that he left Duke early. I know a lot of people want to raise the character concerns. I don't see it personally. I think a lot more is being made out of it than is deserved. And I think he's somebody that can be a huge plus on the defensive end right away. I think he definitely has that going for him as well. I think he's a good passer. I think that is something that's going to show immediately in the NBA. I think he also, for that position, he's a tremendous rebounder. He lacks a little bit of a shot, which is something maybe I'd be concerned about. But hey, if this guy ends up being Ben Simmons or something, I think you absolutely take it,
Well, this would be like back-to-back years, kind of like the Kings possibly getting a potential steal, as like last year Haliburton fell to them when his talent-wise, like he's shown to be like one of the best rookies in that class. And that could be a similar thing with Jalen Johnson. Like you said, like his stock might be falling a little bit, but team takes a chance on him and you get a home run pick.
Absolutely.
All right, the next team on the clock is the Orlando Magic, getting the pick in the Vucevic trade. Again, they're a team in a very deep rebuild now, and they need all the talent they can get. So the pick is in. With the 9th pick, the Orlando Magic will be selecting Keon Johnson. And I'm not gonna lie, I did some research right before this video, and I'm actually a big fan of him. I've seen some people actually saying that the Raptors would be interested in a player like him, or he would fit well with them. But I feel like he is a player with like a lot of upside. I know he fell under the radar because apparently he had a knee injury, which sucks. But I mean, he's a player with like a lot of upside. He's explosive, athletic, can drive to the rim. And some people have even said he has like the ability to underratedly have a shot, like create his own shot. And I feel like this is what the Magic need. He's also really good defensively, and I feel like you could pair him alongside a guy like Isaac. And you have like Isaac at the 4, and you have Bamba at the 5, or Wendell Carter Jr. You're starting to get like a very good young core, and pair that with Suggs like JJ just took earlier. It's not looking too bad.
Yeah, no, I absolutely love the idea of having that backcourt together. I think, again, this feels like a buzzword for this video, but upside. I just see so much upside for this guy potentially in the NBA. I think when you're as athletic a prospect as he is, I think it really works in your favor. I think playing beside Suggs as well in this scenario will absolutely go a long way. And all of a sudden, I think the Orlando Magic, between those two and Wendell Carter Jr., hopefully Jonathan Isaac, who's going to be returning, hopefully similar to what he was looking like before he left, I think all of a sudden this team is starting to quietly look really nice.
I like all the young talent. Like you bring in like a winner like Jalen Suggs. You bring in like Keon Johnson. You just got Wendell Carter, who changes scenery. Mo Bamba, another chance. It's like a lot of good young players. Obviously, you need some veteran leadership to guide them, as young teams usually struggle right away in the NBA. But yeah, honestly, like you said, like upside is the main word in this draft, especially for picks like 6 to 20 or whatever. I've seen some people, even in the video that I watched, like Keon Johnson in a mock draft for Bleacher Report, as high as like 5, like ahead of like Jonathan Kuminga. So that's not meaning like he will pass Jonathan Kuminga, as I feel like those 5 are pretty set in stone, but you never know.
So that leaves me with 1 pick left, and it is the 10 for the Washington Wizards. I'm gonna brace everybody for this. This is gonna be the most controversial pick of this top 10, and flame away in the comment sections because this is just one of my guys.
I'll play the music over you.
With the number 10 overall pick, the Washington Wizards are gonna select Alperen Sengun. I forget the name of the exact team, but from Turkey. I have seen this guy in such varying spots in different outlets on how high they consider him. Outlets like ESPN have him like close to the top 10. Other mocks have him in like the 20s. I've seen one mock that even has him as late as the 30s, which I personally think is absolutely ridiculous. Sengun is one of my guys that I really liked when I was looking for prospects that the Raptors could potentially be taking if, they're a little bit later into this draft, should they back their way into this play-in tournament, which I really hope they don't. And I think the Washington Wizards also have a need at that center position. And I think Sengun is a good answer for them. Maybe there's a little bit of concern about the fact that he's a bit undersized in terms of his height for that position, but I do think there's a lot to like about this kid. I think he's somebody that is really good at drawing fouls currently in the Turkish league. If you throw on the tape, that is something that he has a natural knack for, and I think it's so impressive because in the NBA, I think that will immediately translate, and I think he's going to get a lot of easy points at the free throw line from that. He's also last time I looked into it, he was like an 80% free throw shooter. So he's going to get you a lot of easy points there. I think he's a very good scorer inside. He could maybe work on developing like one or two more counters to his game in terms of his post game, but he has a lot of high energy in there, and he's very good at taking advantage of that energy and going in there and like getting those buckets off that. He's a very good rebounder. That energy also translates into that department, and I think he's somebody that can develop more of an outside game with evidenced by his free throw numbers. I think he's a good shooter. I think you just need a dedicated shooting coach at the NBA level to really work on that with him. And I think this guy will absolutely be somebody that can stretch the court in the NBA. He's shown some flashes of switchability on the defensive end as well, which I think is something that you really like from any big man prospect in a modern day basketball. And I think he can be a good rim protector. My only concern would be in terms of the defensive end. The team, I forget the name of the team right now, but the team in Turkey that he was playing on did play a lot of drop coverage, which doesn't really give you the most accurate reflection of what he can look like as an NBA player and as an NBA defender, because NBA teams don't play as much drop coverage. But I do think there's reason to be optimistic on that end as well. I think, like I said, I'm going to tune up that buzzword again, upside. He's putting up some ridiculous numbers in Turkey. I think he can, and especially at his age too, playing with, well, guys that are pros over there. I think this is a guy that has a chance to be something special. It just takes the right group to work with him and really bring that talent out of him.
Yep, that was a lot to take in, but yeah, I feel like this is a great pick for the Washington Wizards. Low-key pick that I wasn't necessarily thinking of, but Washington, like you said, they have a huge hole at the 5 spot. They're currently starting Alex Len, who we waived.
Hey, Raptors legend. Get that right.
Raptors legend. We valued him less than Bain, so I guess make that what you will. And then they have like Robin Lopez, and then they also just trade for Daniel Gafford as a project. So they're looking for anything they can get. So taking probably like the highest next upside to Evan Mobley as the big man, I feel like that's definitely a good way to go. And if you're stuck with Russell Westbrook and Beal as your backcourt, this could be like a good player to pair with them.
Yeah, I mean, I know a lot of people that just haven't seen this guy will sit here and be like, okay, well, why don't you just go after Kai Jones or something? Because it's a player that I'm sure they've seen more of watching NCAA. And that's not me trying to be a smart ass saying, yeah, I've done the work and like seen this guy. I just think this is a guy that is flying under the radar because he is an international. And I think he has a chance to be so much better than some of the other big man prospects in this draft.
Yeah, and I've seen like Kai Jones. He seems like a player that is like probably like kind of raw, like offensively. He seems like a good roller to the basket and really good energy guy, but then he doesn't probably have as good of a ceiling as the guy you mentioned.
Mm-hmm. All right, so I think that wraps up the top 10 for us. So to do a quick recap, let's take a look at what we have. At number 1, we started off with Cade Cunningham heading to the Oklahoma City Thunder. God damn it. Then we had Jalen Suggs ending up with the Orlando Magic. Our Toronto Raptors, and I'm so jealous you got to make this pick, ended up with Evan Mobley, which is phenomenal. Jalen Green goes to the Detroit Pistons. Oklahoma City is back on the clock at 5, taking Jonathan Kuminga, which is ridiculous, and I'm just insanely jealous of OKC in this scenario right now. Scotty Barnes goes to Golden State. Moses Moody goes to Cleveland. Jalen Johnson goes to Sacramento. Then you have Keon Johnson heading to Orlando. And finally, the Washington Wizards, with the surprise of the top 10, take Alperen Sengun to round it out.
Yep. Let us know in the comments down below. Did we get this right? What would you have changed? I'm pretty sure we're gonna have some mixed opinions on this, but that's how drafts go. So
Flame me. Flame me. Sengun is my guy. I don't care.
Sengun is the NBA star. You heard it from JJ Buckets first.
And if he's not, delete the tapes.
All right, we'll see you guys next time. Peace.